the real story here to me is South Carolina. I didn't expect South Carolina to be good offensively, and they're really kind of average offensively, which is to be expected. But the running back that they have for South Carolina, he was balling. I mean, he was having a career game. Smith, the wide receiver, was also having a great game. Colin Hill did not play bad, the quarterback there. The real question here is not the play on the field. It's the management of the clock and the play calling. No urgency. They're down 2 scores with what was it, 4 or 5 minutes left. They're down 14 points, and they take almost that entire time off the clock to make one drive down to score. There's no urgency, no hurrying to the line, nothing. And so they finally do go down, and they get themselves between a rock and a hard place, and then they turn the ball over.
Will Muschamp was asked about that after the game because, it was like a 7-minute and 40-second drive.
Yeah, out of 8 minutes left or something.
Because they threw the ball down 2 scores, and Shi Smith, who you alluded to, had a big game, 12 or 13 catches. He did drop a pass in the end zone that would have got them within a touchdown with the onside kick with I think like a minute 20, they would have been in something in that range, like a reasonable range to possibly pull it off. But he was asked about that, and his response was that they just ran their offense. Well, there's a problem running your offense run your offense in the first quarter.
That's the most Will Muschamp thing to say, is that we just ran our offense. Yeah, well, you need to run we're down by 2 scores with 8 minutes left offense, not your regular offense. That's the point.
Yes.
And they have Bobo as their offensive coordinator, and he was quoted as saying before the game, and this could be taken out of context, I don't know, I'm paraphrasing here, is that he said basically he feels like these hurry up offenses have ruined the fundamentals in college football. So he's not worried about playing fast. He wants to play fundamentally. Now, on the surface, that sounds like a good thing to say, but when the game is on the line and you're still in it, technically, there's got to be urgency there. And so what that tells me is that he's not practicing any sort of hurry up style of offense in practice, no matter what the game situation, which is alarming and should be troubling to the South Carolina fans.
So either choose to play like that all the time and make that part of your strategy to wear out the defense, run up tempo, not allow for them to, even though there's an allowance now in terms of time for them to make a personnel change if needed, that sort of thing. Or if you make a personnel change, they make a personnel change kind of deal. But the game is run against the clock. So the team that's got the most points when the clock hits 0 wins the game. Therefore, you're running against the clock if you're losing the game. You're battling the clock and the opponent. Therefore, it would be a wise maneuver to have an offense that can adapt to the game situation and run plays in a up-speed tempo. It shouldn't even be explained. Have to be explained. It's a ridiculous statement to make.
So I think we're in agreement pretty much on the coaching situation at South Carolina. I mean, I see I want to say the light at the end of the tunnel. If you're a Gamecock fan, you see the light at the end of the tunnel, because I don't think Will Muschamp will survive much longer the way things are going there. If you're a Clemson fan, you want the light to go away, because as a Clemson fan, I hope they give him a lifetime contract.
If I'm in the administration in South Carolina and I care about football, I view us differently than Vanderbilt and Missouri in that division. I think, why can't we be Florida, Tennessee, Georgia? Not tomorrow, but we've got 80-some thousand seats. They pack out. We've got a committed fan base. We've got money. We've got talent all around us. We're in South Carolina just like Clemson is. We were beating them 7 or 8 years ago. We're in the same division. We've got access to this Atlanta talent, Florida talent. Why can't we do it? Why can't we hire the right guy?
You're preaching to the choir, right? Sometimes I feel like I'm more optimistic about how good South Carolina could be than the actual fans are themselves. And believe me, I could go on for an hour about this, about the type of coaches that they hire. Well, the last 3 have all been recycled coaches. They don't have the vision to go out and get a Scott Frost or a Mike Norvell or a Luke Fickell at Cincinnati. They want the guys that already have a pedigree who are on the downside of their career. Well, I don't know. Well, Muschamp didn't have a pedigree, but you know what I'm saying. But they
As a coordinator, he did.
started with Lou Holt, then it went to Spurrier. And believe me, Spurrier was a great coach. We all know that. And he won a bunch of games there. Still only won the division once, never won the conference. His really claim to fame was beating Clemson 5 years in a row. And then they go out and get a washed up coach who really didn't have a great record at Florida and Will Muschamp. Like if you can't cut it at Florida with Florida's talent, I don't know what makes you think you can cut it at South Carolina with South Carolina's type talent. So anyway, my point is, and everyone says about South Carolina, well, who are they going to get? Well, who are they going to get? They can't get it. Nobody wants that job. Sure. Do you think that a Group of 5 coach wouldn't want that job? Being in South Carolina, being in the heart of recruiting country, where you can recruit 4 or 5 elite recruiting states all around you. Clemson's doing it. There's no reason that South Carolina can't do it too, if they get the right guy in there.
I'm scanning the country. I'm not coming up with a location of a school that underachieves like South Carolina for decades. I'm not coming up with anyone else. Everybody else has an excuse. If Nebraska plays like South Carolina does for the next 20 years, they've got the excuse that they've got no players, and on and on and on. You can go anywhere. I just can't find it. Auburn wins, Texas A&M wins more than South Carolina. Everybody wins at times in other places that maybe are still underachieving at times. They still figure out a way to win. Tennessee wins. I know it's been a long time, but they did 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It's starting to become the distant past, but still, Tennessee's done it. Why can everybody else do it, at least at some point in their history, but not South Carolina ever? West Virginia's got no players, and they field really good teams.
And it's not like this is a school that doesn't care about football. They care.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The people are there.
They have a huge fan base. I mean, they're the biggest university in the state. They're double Clemson size as far as the amount of students they have. More than double. They have a stadium, a good venue. They have a rabid fan base. That if I'm the athletic director at South Carolina, I'm calling up Luke Fickell every day from now until they fire me, and I'm offering him as much money as he wants to come coach the team, within reason.
Yeah, he's probably the guy. If I come up with another one, I'll let you know, but that's a good choice.
That's a good choice, and I'm sure there's 2 or 3 other ones like him that would also be a good fit there. But no, what they'll do is they'll go out and they'll try to hire Hugh Freeze next, or somebody who's already been there and done that and hasn't really lived up to expectation at the previous school that they were at. So anyway, moving on from South Carolina, they are a problem for themselves, not for anybody else.